Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You can see I'm in the Phoenix Park, and just behind me is the Wellington monuments. I like to pop by here every now and then, have a read of my book. A lot of the Phoenix Park is actually closed off for the next little while, as the big Blooms Festival that happens here every year is on. I've been to it a couple of times when I was doing some work with some horticulture firm, and it's well worth a visit if you're in Dublin at that time. But it's so one half of the park is closed off. I'm going to start from here at the Wellington Memorial, take the road down the side, which will eventually lead me down to where the magazine fort is. I think that's where the president keeps all his Playboys. So then from the magazine fort, carrying up a little bit, there's a really nice stretch that I like down to a pond. And I think I'm probably going to take in Farmliegh as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it as a continuous run, or I might just get nice sections as I'm going along. And so it'll only be half the park for today. So I hope you enjoy the ride anyway, and we'll get started. Okay. All right, we're going to start that again. A little bit of a bumpy area and a rattle from my test out mic setup. That's just beside the Wellington Memorial. And now this brings us onto Wellington Road. At the top of the hill is the magazine fort. I'm going to change to the camera on my hat, and we'll have a little closer look at that before I head to that lovely little lake that I mentioned. See lots of bollards everywhere, getting ready for the festival. Alright then, this is the hill we just came down. That'll bring you onto the Chapel Lizard Road if you go to the right. We're going to continue up here. It's magazine fort just there. So, make sure I don't lose me bits. Good to go. Bless electric bikes. There's been reconstruction works going on here for quite some time. If you can just see right over there's a clock tower. Well, the tower you can see that's just peeking up. I believe that's Farmliegh, and that there is the Farmliegh Tower, but also originally the Guinness's Tower, is it? The Guinness family used to live there for a while. Thank you. Should be getting a much closer look at that soon enough. There's some of the lads up there working away. I remember the last time I was down here, the swifts of swallows. Had a real treat with them flying. Little crevices in the walls where they just flew in. Where they're living, I presume. Have a good day.
Thank you.
It's paper cross over that. And then Pope John Paul II came. I think it was a record-breaking crowds. 1.5 million people came to see him, I think. I don't know, I remember Mum was delighted because when my gran got little pieces of carpet. Get back to the road. It's quite often where you see reindeer down here. We will be keeping an eye out for them. I have an ND filter on this camera for bright sunshine, so this might be a bit dark. As all great directors say, I'll clean it up in post. We'll get back to the sunshine now in a minute. No deer around here today. Liffey. And I want to do a run down, so it's Chapel Lizard just there, across the bridge at the Liffey, then come all the way down right beside it. Last time I was there was a sailing regatta, and I'm going to try and catch another one over the summer because it makes wonderful visuals, capture that time and place, and I do enjoy a good regatta. But, yeah, I'd usually take this left because that Chapel Lizard bypass road down there is really, well, you can see some of the Liffey, but it's not that much to look at. This is much nicer. And scoot out there. We're going to continue on ahead. Yeah, St Mary's Hospital there that you just went past. A little slip road there just immediately brings me back up here. Good, thank you.
Gets good speed.
Yeah, not too bad. More than's legal. I'm only doing 19 kilometres at the moment. This is a little side trail that I love. Bring me back up here eventually, but it's well worth the trip. Just keep an extra eye out for dogs and kids. They know not what they do, but they'll do it anyway. And with all alacrity and gusto. Bless them. It's a much favourite spot right there for people to come down with the dogs, be throwing sticks in. Well, that's efficient, so they must believe something's there. I think you'll agree, absolutely picturesque, gorgeous. Now up the hill. Everywhere you look, there's little trails. People have been over. But still, no matter how many times they come here, still always somewhere else you haven't been. You might recognise this spot if you watched other videos. This gate that we're coming up to now is Knock Maroon Gate. When you go out here, down to the junction, to the left is that mental hill, which was actually much longer and steeper than I remembered, at Knock Maroon Hill. That leads into the back of Chapel Lizard. I made a video from that starting point where I come up then, and Strawberry Beds, that if you go to the right when you get down to the junction, that's then down to Strawberry Beds, where I hit that nearly invisible speed bump at 43 kilometres an hour. But that's that gate anyway. It's one of the rare times I've sworn on one of my videos, but I don't think anybody blamed me.